Cheers. Now, when I was a lad, we used to have two types of cheese. There was a hard cheddar, nondescript, not even a mature cheddar, it was just a cheddar. And the other option was a nice crumbly Cheshire, white Cheshire, and it was absolutely delicious. The best cheese ever for toasting, and I like a bit of toasted cheese, I do. But we've noticed over recent years, excuse me, we've noticed over recent years the lack of crumbly Cheshires. You can get a Wensleydale and such like, but the tendency today is to add things to Wensleydale, and you'll find it with well, I found one the other day with ginger and mango. I mean, it's very nice, don't get me wrong, it was lovely. I wouldn't want to toast it though, and it's expensive. There's a cranberry one that they do, which again, very nice, but we used to have big blocks of crumbly white Cheshire when I was a lad, and I miss it. So we've come to Mrs. Kirkham's cheese shop. 180 years of history, something like that. I'll confirm that later. 120, the wife told me. So we've driven all the way up to Lancashire to come and sample it. Bugger me backwards with a ferret on a stick. What happens when we get here? We're told they don't do crumbly anymore. There's a story behind that as well, which I'll tell later. So we did indulge. I'm just going to have an olive because I do like a nice olive. Oh, and they are a nice olive. Wow, delicious. This speck, because I don't do it really, that speck is a blue cheese that they do, and it's not for me. I don't like blue cheese. Let's face it, it's gone off. It's mouldy. Why would you sell it? What's the sell-by date on a mouldy cheese? Good question. But I do sample it now and again. And actually,
get your mitts off it.
No, I'm not touching it. Wow. That is, I haven't got my glasses on. Hey, how's it pronounced?
I don't know.
I'll turn it to the camera. That's one of them. Oh, it's phenomenal. I'm getting sidetracked now. Stop it. Bear with. So we arrived looking for a nice crumbly. There isn't a crumbly, but they've got all sorts of others that they do. This one is a proper mature cheddar style, made by Mrs. Kirkham. Not Mrs. Kirkham herself, but Mrs. Kirkham's. Someone called a company. They're an artisan outfit. I've got some footage later, you'll see it. But that, we're about to try it. I've never touched it before. Oh, that's good. Wow, that's very good. Yes, very nice. Yeah, that's their mature. You'd have to call it cheddar, so we shouldn't be using Cheshire and cheddar anymore because it's irrelevant in today's cheese world. Bear with. Just cleanse the palate. That's delicious. Now this, you might think, is a traditional camembert. Well, it isn't. Is this one made in Nottingham, did we decide? Anyway, it's made in the UK.
Oh, sorry.
It's artisan again. Handmade in the UK. That's excellent. Bear in mind we were in France a couple of weeks back and we totally pigged out on the cheese, as you would. It would be rude not to. Turns out you haven't got to go to France. You can get all of this wonderful cheese. Oh, I'm going to have another bit of that. Right here in the UK. All thanks to Mrs. Kirkham's cheese shop. I'll show you around the place and then I'll be back. Enjoy. So I had great plans for this bit of the video, looking around inside Mrs. Kirkham's cheese shop. But, me being me, completely forgot about the flicker that I'm going to get when I walk into a room. Pretty much most of the footage is unusable. But I did manage to salvage something, so you're going to get a feel for the place. So here we go. Join me inside Mrs. Kirkham's cheese shop. So the first thing that strikes me is what a nice, light, airy environment we're in. And the second thing that strikes me is it's not only cheese. We're looking at a display of various vinegars and chutneys and jams. And of course bread, which you saw me sampling earlier. My only complaint is they got something advertised as an oatcake. Well, it ain't like no oatcake I've ever seen before. Staffordshire oatcakes, those are the ones you really want. Working our way around, we come to, I'm guessing, the delicatessen selection of meats, bacon, sausages, hams and salami. You may also just spot the olives that I couldn't resist. Moving on. Of course, eventually we come to the star of the show, which really is the cheese, and this just makes my mouth water. So the obvious ones to point out: Mrs. Kirkham's mild and creamy Lancashire, Mrs. Kirkham's tasty Lancashire, Mrs. Kirkham's mature Lancashire, and not forgetting Mrs. Kirkham's smoked Lancashire. All absolutely delicious, I'm sure. There's also the Stickleton. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that was the blue that surprised me during the taste test. Another one that I'm aware of is the Red Fox that you can see. That's a mature Red Leicester. Absolutely fabulous. Spoilt for choice, really. And I'll definitely return to ensure I've tried every single one of them. Trust me. We did manage to get a very special sneaky peek behind the scenes. We're not supposed to go in here, but I didn't. I just poked the camera in. And to my everlasting embarrassment, of course, I totally forgot to remember the young lady's name. It's the latest generation of the Kirkhams. And explained in great detail when they no longer produce the white crumbly I came in search of. All to do with it losing popularity since the war. But there you go. I'm still on the hunt for the white crumbly. So our cheese hunting adventures will no doubt continue. Next county on the list has got to be Cheshire. Has to be, doesn't it? If you're on the hunt for a white, crumbly Cheshire cheese, where else would you start? Well, Lancashire in my case, but that was for other reasons. So there you have it. That was Mrs. Kirkham's cheese shop. We spent the night Briarcliff area, I seem to recall, but I can't remember the name of the pub. But that's a story for another day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget all the usual stuff. If you could see yourself fit to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, that'd be great. If you've got any weird, out of the way cheeses that I'm not aware of, that'd be good to know as well. What are your recommendations? Let me know. Thanks everybody. Have a great time, and we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully not too long. Bye bye.